Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to this brand new series of Hearts of Iron 4. This is the new Together for Victory expansion, which has just come out today, and I wanted to jump in. So, starting a new game, you can see that the various major powers are up here, as before, but we have a number of smaller icons underneath, and that is displaying the various countries that have their own unique focus trees. So before, we've got Poland, as we've seen previously in the 4 Hour Freedom and Yours game that we did. But we have also now got the Dominion of Canada, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, and the British Raj. And you might see something of a theme there. They're all the British territories which fight under the UK in regular Hearts of Iron, and that is because Together for Victory has really fleshed out the puppets and dominion system, so there's more of an interrelationship between the overlord and their subjects. There are basically different tiers of subjects, so you go from dominion to colony to to puppet to integrated puppet to basically annexed. So for example, these four I think are all dominions, and then the British Raj is a puppet. So they have less personal power than these guys, but each of them now has focuses which basically allow them to get independence or allow them to actually toe the line and support the UK in the war. And what I was thinking of doing is actually playing as South Africa, because during the developer stream, which I was lucky enough to attend in Stockholm, I wasn't actually playing, but I was there watching. One of the players was playing as South Africa, and their basically their ambition was to make Africa for the Africans again. They were freeing all the African states from the colonial overlords. I kind of like that idea, so I might do the same thing. So let's check out South Africa. So our leader is JBM Herzog. Ideology is democratic regime. We do have elections. Ruling party are the United Party. Brief history. When the Great War began, many in South Africa refused to take up arms for the British masters. The South African military spent most of the Great War chasing around German forces in their African colonies with limited success. Now a new war looms on the horizon. Then, as now, there are some in South Africa that think the country shouldn't be fighting against the Germans at all. Some even believe that the time has come for the descendants of the Boers to make their bid for liberty that was denied to their forefathers. And yes, with my Dutch ancestry, I will indeed be towing the Boer line in this particular conflict. So we have the Oswabrandwach, which is daily fascism support and factory output. We have the history of segregation, which is minus 55% recruitable population factor. I do hope that we can get rid of that. I'm not sure that we'll be able to though. Interesting. And then basically this is the 3 directions that we can go in. So we can secure the interest in Africa, which is the British loyalist way, basically. The Union of South Africa neighbours a number of British colonies that could be left to our administration. We should also do what we can to permanently secure our mandate over Southwest Africa. I don't just want Southwest Africa, though. Or we could support the German coup. The German government has long seen South Africa as fertile ground for greater influence, dating back to the last century. Our future lies with the Reich, not with the Empire, so let's move forward with the plan to overthrow the government. Or the more kind of out there system is the Anti-Colonialist Crusade. Colonialism sits at the heart of the Imperialist system that suppresses the workers of the world. We are in a unique position to smash that system and free the African people from centuries of exploitation that they have had to endure. So that is what we're going to go with. So we're going to play as South Africa. I'm just going to pause the recording here and I'll join you when we're actually in the game. No, I won't, because I totally forgot the setup. We are actually going to be playing on regular this time. We are playing as a minor, not one of the majors, and I don't want to get overly cocky. And we're also going to be switching these up. So I want to make it a little bit harder. So we're going to boost everyone except for the USA and the Soviet Union. I'm not doing the Soviets because we're going to be on the Soviet side. We're boosting Germany and Italy so that there's more going on in Europe, and France and the UK, so they can actually fight the Germans, and also so the colonies actually have some threat. I mean, a large part of the early game for us is just going to be purely in the African theatre, and this should be a pretty interesting game. Like, I don't think I've ever played in Africa in any of the Paradox Grand Strategy games ever, so my knowledge of African geography is going to be atrocious compared to that of, say, Europe or the US. My Asian geography isn't great either. So I know where some big countries are, like Congo, Ethiopia, because it says there, but otherwise I'm going to be kind of stumbling, so this will be good for like personal learning as well. Right, now I will join you on the other side. All right, we're in. So, what are the current system? We are, of course, in a relationship under the British. We are a dominion. South Africa has 400 of 1,000 points of being able to become free, and that is ultimately what we want to do. So we need to generate more freedom points, 600 more, and we need also 298 more political power before we can break away. I think that we are going to want to shift towards socialism. We've got civilian economy, export focused volunteer army, and nothing else. Let's have a look at our focuses. So the War Measures Act focus will political 120 more political power. This is usually more production. Oh, this is the policy of appeasement. So this is basically following the UK, or we can abandon Westminster. Support the Afrikaner Brotherhood, which is fascism support, or empower the workers, which is daily autonomy progress gain. And daily communism support. Oh, I think we may actually split faster if we do this one. Support pain, repeal the Native Repression Act. Gains national spirit, black volunteers, which grants recruitable population of 1%. Reduces the daily fascism support. Can support Spain. Burn the king's portraits. 120 political power. Change in population of communists, 50%. Blimey, that goes quickly. Equal opportunity employment. Factory output plus 5%. That's pretty good. Joining Comintern or the Anti-Colonialist Crusade, and that's probably the direction that we're going to go. Ooh, it actually scrolls down. Wow, this is a lot bigger. Union of the African people. Can create our own faction. Liberate Portuguese colonies. So that's basically a war against Portugal. War against Belgium. War against Britain. Treaty with the USSR. Can we do this? I think we might be able to. Yeah, I think we can. I don't remember what the dotted lines mean. I'm pretty sure it's not one or the other. Yeah, I think it just means that once we have this, we can go either and or all of them. All right. Or we could go with supporting the Germans, Native Laws Act, cheap labor, 3% factory output, reduces recruitable population, support Oswa Brandwach, I'm going to have to look up how you actually pronounce that, which reduces partisans, reduces foreign subversive activities, and wow, 10% factory output. Celebrate the Great Trek, more political power. Vortracker Monument, which grants national unity, 7% daily autonomy. Oh, there we go. So we get autonomy with the communists here and here with the fascists. Consumer goods factories, minus 3%. That's not bad. Outlaw strikes. More factory output, even less consumer goods factories. So the fascists are basically more efficient industry, while the communists are just more manpower. Lots and lots more manpower. Support national Naziification, which gives you a whole bunch of stuff. South Africa becomes free. South Africa first. Allows you to create your own faction. Oh, it's one or the other of these. Mutually exclusive. So I guess this one is joining the Axis, and this one is doing it in your own. Reclaiming the Boer colonies. Gains conquer focus war goal against the UK. A king for our people. King Edward has been exiled. Oh, that brings in King Edward, which has even more national unity. Division recovery rate and division organisation. So that's basically a more efficient army. I think we're still going to go with the communists because we want to basically destroy the colonialist scum. So we're not quite going with the Boer background. We're going with this one. Training, desert equipment, suppress storm. Oh, that's remove the Osprey. Okay. Requests African mandate. So I think that gives you control over more of Africa. Oh, there we go. Remove national spirit, history of segregation. Expanding the Cape Core. I think that's the only one that does that. So that would massively increase the amount of population you have. Gains national spirit, desert equipment. Can we definitely not get these? Because I think we can get them from the War Measures Act. Oh, I wish I remembered how this works. I have a feeling we can actually get this stuff. Although, why would we be able to get that one? I don't know. Requires desert equipment to suppress the storm. Yeah, so if you have two of these solid lines, it requires both. For this one of the following. South Africa is fully independent. Or all of the following is a dominion. Autonomy, progress over 60. No. Prince Windhoek or Afrikaner Brotherhood. So yeah, I think going this way locks all of this. So can we get that? It requires all of the following. War measures and policy of appeasement. Right, so yes, you do need both. So we can get war measures on its own, but then nothing else. Oh no, that requires war. Hang on. This only requires war measures. More than 20% world tension. Current ruling party is not democratic. So you can't get this if you're with the Brits. Or you're less likely to. Emergency workers, civilian construction speed, military and infrastructure construction. West Cape means more coastal forts, reduces segregation. So yes, we can actually get those. Okay, never mind. And then it's one of the other of these, so we can get cheap labour or expand the Africa Corps. And I think we'll go with the Africa Corps, so we get more recruitable population, much more recruitable population. Because there is one thing which Africa has, and that is a lot of manpower. So we'll probably be doing kind of manpower wave like the Soviets. Okay, cool. Sorry, I'm spending a lot of time on this. I haven't looked at this at all. I literally just got the expansion and then started playing. Mining industry, engineering, blah, 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 blah. Gold exports, grants consumer goods factories minus 5%. You could run a really lean and very efficient industry with this. Ooh, lots of research slots. 3 of them from that. Are there any more over here? 10% tech sharing bonus from the Commonwealth research. So there is now tech sharing between an overlord and their dominions. The more autonomy you have, the higher your tech sharing, I think. So this means that you can really get a lot of benefit from staying in the UK. Or staying with the British Special Service Battalions. This is actual combat stuff. 5-year plan for air power. And then Defence Force for Navy. African railways. Civilian factories. Industry, infrastructure, military factory, gold exports. Okay, so I think we are going to go with the abandoned Westminster first. So do we want to start with that? I think we do, because we want to get the empower the workers basically as soon as possible. Right? Or do we want to go for the industries? Ooh, 50% research bonus for excavation 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh, 1 times. So it's just research bonus for excavation. I don't know why they don't just say that. And then industry. So you get quite a lot of industry bonuses. Yeah, I think we need to go along this line first. And that should actually mean, because ordinarily you would need to hire the Communist Revolutionary, which increases daily communism support, but I don't actually think we'll need it in this instance. All right, so we have only got 2 research slots. That is quite pathetic, but we do start with the UK's tech currently. So we're going to do the usual and go for the production and construction, I think. Although we could also get the tech speed. You know what? We will get research speed. Do we want machine tools or do we want construction? I think we actually want construction at this point, so that we can build more factories more quickly. And speaking of construction, let's see what we can do. So there is not much production space down here yet. I think we'll just build 2 civilian factories here. And then do something like that. 2 civilians and then 3 military. Otherwise, there is not that much we can do. We are generating political power. Alright, I think basically we just ramp up the speed and get going. You can watch the growth of Britain. What is that area flashing? Oh, that's the DMZ. Oh, okay. Never actually played as Germany in this. One of these days I will need to rectify that. We can have a look at what troops we have. We have got 6 divisions when we start. They all have a fair amount of training, though we could have them train further. And do we have any commanders? We have George Edwin Brink, who is a pretty decent general, actually. Desert Fox. Oh, yes. Fighting in deserts. See, I was quite tempted to make you into a field marshal, but you already have Desert Fox, so I don't think I want to do that. We might need another field marshal in the future, but right now we don't. I'm not even going to bother moving my troops around. Do we have any fleets or anything? We have no ships and no aircraft. Fantastic. We have nothing. Do we have any materials at all? We have a shortage of infantry equipment and a couple of convoys. We have not set up any military. We have 1 military factory. Oh man, this is going to be interesting. And 31,000 manpower. Thanks to the minus 55% history of segregation. Remilitarization of the Rhineland. Germany has stationed troops in the Rhineland territory close to the French border in clear violation of the Treaty of Versailles. The local population cheered as German soldiers on, while the diplomatic reactions from France and Britain have so far been muted. It is no more than Germans walking their own backyard, a political commentator in Britain observed. And there we go, we have got abandoned Westminster. The replacement of the Cape route by the Suez, as well as the formative experience of the Boer War, have helped create a South African identity distinct from that of our Dominion allies. We should distance ourselves from the king and forge our own path. And then I think we're going to go towards empower the workers, which is going to start increasing our autonomy and our daily communism support. Like so. So can we see... We have no subjects, we have no territories. Currently South Africa is a dominion. We cannot declare our own wars. We cannot decline a call to war. We have extra trade to Overlord and a trade bonus of 75%. I think that's probably within the Commonwealth. So we have easier trade with the Commonwealth, but Britain can trade with us cheaper. What specialities do we have? Armor research time, reliability, soft attack. That's actually pretty nice. ISCOR armor company. Reliability, navy, bog standard. Light aircraft, pretty standard, although actually the medium air company is pretty nice. Yeah, then medium air company is definitely the strongest of those. Industry, all pretty standard. Industrial, pretty standard. Theorists, pretty standard. 2 experts. Do we have any geniuses? Nope. And anyone interesting here? Political power, ideology, drift. Political power gain. Captain of industry, we may want that one. We may want him. I don't know. It kind of depends just how quickly communism grows. So, yeah, we will see. Oh, it's paused. Didn't realise that, sorry. Sorry. We gain 1, 2, 2.5, 3. Electronic mechanical engineering. I think we'll go for the next research rate as well, just so we can get this technology going more quickly, which would be nice. We are generating a little bit of army experience because of our training troops. And they're very, very nearly at regular status, at which point we can train them no further. 3 more, 2 more, 1 more, the end. Alright, stop training so you're not wasting all of my gear. Marvellous. So we have a pretty well-trained army. That's nice. I think we are just going to be using waves and waves of infantry and quite possibly light tanks, because we are going to be covering a lot of territory, a lot of distance, with very little resistance, probably until we reach like this area, possibly around Ethiopia if we come up against the Italians, but we'll see. Otherwise, how's this going? Construction's going slowly. We are still building these. We still only have the one military factory. Yay! I'm wondering if we really want 2 of these. Empower the workers. We are a country of miners and farmers. The working people of South Africa are the only true representatives of the national will. And then we can either go towards supports. Actually, can we even do these? No, we can't do these yet. More than 10% support for the SACP. So is this now growing? Yes, slowly. Very slowly. So I think that we will need to save up political power for the communist demagogue. So we're going to wait until we have 150. And then we'll go and do that. Because we do actually save national focus here as well. So let's grab the communist revolutionary, so we get communism on the rise, while workers rise up against their oppressors around the world. Those who claim to have achieved class consciousness in South Africa sit idly by and wait for change to come from within a political system so thoroughly corrupt. Only revolution could save us from it. So speak, new voices in the South African communist movement. Referring to the rule of United as a dictatorship of the bourgeoisie, they have begun calling for it to be brought out of power by any means necessary. Whether those means come from within or without remains to be seen. Let's have a look. Increases chance of internal support or popular support. So that is like a popular uprising, and this is within the government. We're actually going to have a lot of stuff coming from within the government, so let's do this legally. Now we can select a new national focus, which is none of those. So I think we basically start on the South African railways and begin working on a bit of industry, especially as this also leads to the increased technology numbers. Marvellous. We have a number of convoys. Spanish Civil War. The Civil War has erupted in Spain. Several generals seeking to overthrow the government in Madrid have issued a pronunciamiento, and a large portion of the Spanish armed forces have answered their call to arms. This right-wing nationalist faction has occupied much of Spain, including the overseas territories. Loyalist forces and volunteers have assembled under the left-wing Republican government, determined to resist the putsch to their last breath. The battle for Spain has begun. We could actually go and assist the Republicans, and I'm very tempted to do so. We can't change this, but we can support Spain here. We need to either be fully independent or autonomy progress over 60%. Wait, Spanish Civil War or not screw over. Okay. I guess that actually means Spanish Civil War over, but it kind of looks... Flag, not screwed over. Yep. What is our dominion at the moment? I mean, I get the points, but what's the percentage? I guess it's 47% technically. And we are at 8% communist popularity now. And we do still have the daily fascism support. So both of us, hopefully, will be biting away at the United front. And there we go, construction 1. Marvellous. Basic machine tools or... Because we're going to have no sort of oil. Like, at all. So we may well actually want to do this. You know what? We will. And we're going to cancel one of the military factories that we currently have queued up. I'll say Natal is going to be where our oil refineries will come. So once we have synthetic refineries, we can stick one in there. So that means that we'll basically be able to have our own tanks and stuff, which would be nice. One thing also which we could do, I think it's probably too late, is boosting the party popularity, because that increases the number of troops that they get. But it's too late for that. Should have thought of that earlier, as we're actually on the communist side. Oh well. So the United Front is losing. United National South African Party is losing influence. There we go, South African Railways, which adds infrastructure. I think we're going to get 2 more civilian factories in Southwest Africa. Research bonus for industry. We've basically already done that, so we don't need it. Okay. And this will mean that construction happens more quickly. Unfortunately, Africa is going to be really, really badly industrialized, so we're going to have quite a lot of work to do on that front. Meanwhile, Italy is slowly choking off Ethiopia. The games of the 11th Olympiad. The 11th Olympic Games were recently held in Berlin, Germany. Attended by athletes from 49 different nations across the world, the 1936 Summer Olympics are the first in history to have been enjoyed limited live television coverage. The Games were a significant propaganda victory for the German Reich, which spent lavishly on the event. German athletes saw the most successes, winning 33 gold medals, while the Americans came in second with 24. 4 of those were by Jesse Owens, the single most successful athlete of the Games. Cool, well done. And we are very slowly overcoming our deficit by making 4 guns a day. Yay, go us. We are not having to buy anything, and in fact we are a net exporter of chromium, which isn't that great yet, but once we get to modern armor and stuff like that, it will be fantastic. Treaty of Addis Ababa. Ethiopia took one state. Ethiopia was annexed. So Ethiopia's gone. Working on mechanical computing, construction still going through. I mean, the main thing that we're doing right now are the focuses. And in fact, on that note, we're going to end this episode. So thank you very much for watching. I do hope that you are enjoying this so far. If you are, please do hit that like button. It really does help the channel out. We are still relatively new, though we did very recently celebrate our 1-year anniversary, but we are only 1 year old. If you have any tips or advice to me, then please do let me know in the comments. And if you haven't done so already, then please do consider subscribing as well. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.